In the table given below, match the historians to the approaches taken by them. Now, it is important to note that it will be much more difficult to locate the approaches in the passage as it would be to locate the names. So it is better to, instead of connecting from the first area, which is ABCD to EFGH, which is the approach to the name, which is basically this direction. Instead, we should try to connect from name to approach. Let us try and locate these names. First off, we have K.M. Panikkar. K.M. Panikkar is mentioned here at the end of the second paragraph. And we see that this mentions that finally we have come to the nationalists who range from those who can find nothing good or true in the British to sophisticated historical philosophers like K.M. Panikkar. So Panikkar connects to the philosophical approach of history. So we connect that here. Or C connects to E. Next up, let's first clear this out. Next up, we have H.H. Dodwell. Now, Dodwell is a bit of a difficult proposition because Dodwell has been mentioned twice in the passage. What we are looking for is in the third paragraph here. We see H.H. Dodwell mentioned in the second paragraph as well, but that doesn't make any difference because his approach has not been given here. So if you read the third paragraph, it says, not how India was conquered, but how it was governed was the theme of this school of historians. What this is talking about is the administrative historians. But when the Raj was settled down, glamour departed from politics and they turned to the less glorious but more solid ground of administration. It found its archpriest in H.H. Dodwell, its priestess in Dame Lillian Penson, and its chief shrine in volume 6 of the Cambridge History of India. So what we are looking at here is basically H.H. Dodwell. Let's first clear this out. We have Dodwell connecting to the administrative approach, or A connects to F. Next up, we have Radha Kumud Mukherjee. Dr. Radha Kumud Mukherjee has been mentioned here. And we see that after these names, it is mentioned, they, it may be said, restored India to Indian history, but their bias was mainly political. So Radha Kumud Mukherjee, Dr. Mukherjee is an instance of, or is one name that is connected to the political approach of history. In other words, B connects to G. And finally, we have R.C. Dutt. R.C. Dutt, again mentioned in the third paragraph. We see it here. And in the statement before this, the approach is given. Meanwhile, in Britain, other currents were moving, which led historical study into the economic and social fields. R.C. Dutt entered the first of these currents with his Economic History of India, to be followed more recently by. So what we are talking about here is the economic system or the economic focus of history. In other words, R.C. Dutt followed the economic approach to history, or D connects with H. So we finally get that we have A connecting with F, B connecting with G, C connecting with E, and D connecting with H, which is given by option 1. So the correct answer is option 1 or option A.